Okay, that's done. All right. All right. And all right. All right, that'll do. And then all right. There, that'll do. Okay. All right. Let's go down. Yeah, that's what we good? We're good. Okay. All right. I think we're good. I think we're good. Okay. I might have somebody joining in a little bit. We'll go from there. So, I've played 5e. I played 5e. I am on episode like 160 at this point of a campaign. It's a dungeon, it's D&D 5e Odyssey of the Dragon Lords with a mythic Odyssey of Theros kind of mixture in there. It's kind of quite a bit of homebrew from the DM that I play with. So, and we're going all the way to 20. We're level 13 right now. And we think that it's going to take another like 6 months or something to finish. But when we're done with that, he has already said he wants to turn on or do Kingmaker in Pathfinder 2e. And we talked about it. I may not actually get into the game. I hope that I do. But he hinted that he would like his Sunday night group to basically convert over, if they can, to Kingmaker, which will also be Sunday nights. So within that, one of the guys that I play with, his name is Nathan. Hopefully he can join here in a bit. We've been actually talking about different ancestries and classes that we like, and we're going to build two characters together with a bunch of different options. We're kind of going through those. I wanted to sit down and chat with him because mostly all of this dialogue has been through Discord. I figured that would be fun. Also wanted to go through and kind of learn a little bit about Pathfinder. I have a little bit of understanding, but anyway, it'd be kind of like in and out, looking at some of the Pathfinder rules and going down that path. Additionally, we both literally just saw Dune at the same time, and we thought we would talk about it, assuming he can make the call. And still confirming that. But let's start going. I do want to look at different. I don't care about that. Basics of play. Why not? Let's click on that and see. Okay, I don't need that. Creating a narrative. Okay, I don't need that. I get role-playing games for the most part. Examples of play using this book. Character creation. I think we should start there. That's what we're talking about anyway. Unless you're the GM, the first thing you need to do when playing is create your character, W. It's up to you to imagine your character's past experiences, personality, and worldview. And this will set the stage for your role-playing during the game. You'll use the game's mechanics to determine your character's ability to perform various tasks and use special abilities during the game. Hey, Canadian, don't rate. I'm not getting rated. Don't say that. Who's rating me? Olam W. Alright. Thank you, Olam, for the raid of 372. I really appreciate that. There's no Valorant tonight. I'm going to spoil Dune for all of you. I'm spoiling Dune. I'm kidding, I'm not gonna spoil Dune. Oh. The guy I was going to talk to is not able to show up now, but no, I'm learning Pathfinder and creating some. Yeah, dude, Dune was so I literally just read the book and finished it on Wednesday, knowing that I was going to go watch part 2. So I thought it was a great adaptation of the book, and now I'm going to go get the second book so that I can get in front of the next movie. So. Oh, you saw the popcorn bucket. You know what the spoilers are. Okay, I'm hearing you out. No. Oh, it was the joke about the way. Okay. They do. Yeah, that's what they do with the worms. Literally, it's a story about how when you get a puppy for the first time and puppies have worms, that's actually what Dune is about, is how puppies get worms. Anyway, I got really excited about the show. They did a great job at it. There's one or two things that I like that they changed. I'm not a whatever fundamentalist, I guess. Somebody who thinks the book has to, or the movie has to match the book one for one. But I really enjoyed what they did based off of what I read. Awesome. Thank you for the sub, Olam W. I appreciate that. Speaking of Prime, anyway, so I'm going to learn about Pathfinder, and I figured I would do it on stream. I was going to do it with a friend, a guy I'm going to play the game with potentially, but he can't make it now. So just going to be me staring and reading words that you can see on screen. Thanks for hanging out. Okay. I don't need to know about this part. Okay, so I do know about the 6 ability scores from Pathfinder, or from 5e. Okay. So these aren't that unique. I think they pretty much match one for one with other tabletop RPG. Ethan, oh my god, guys, I got back up to 4 subscribers. You guys are the best. You guys are the best. Strength measures your character's physical power. Strength is important if your character plans to engage in hand-to-hand combat. Your strength modifier gets added to melee damage rolls and determines how much your character can carry. Okay, that still is the same. Dexterity means your character's agility, balance, reflexes. That's still the same. Constitution measures your character's overall health and stamina. I believe holding your breath is also included in this fortitude save, I think. Intelligence measures how well your character can learn and reason. Okay. That matches. Measures your character's common sense, awareness, and intuition for wisdom. Okay, yeah, that matches. Personal magnetism, strength of personality. Okay, nothing new there. Each ability can start at 10, representing the human average, but as you make character choices, you add these scores, abilities. Okay. I think we typically do a point buy. At least that's what we did for Mythic Odyssey. It's possible that our DM will switch it up and have us. I was going to play in Curse of Strahd, but I ended up not being able to have time to play 2 games at once. And what he did for Curse of Strahd is he had everybody roll. We had 6 people, and he had everybody roll a dice, and that was our array, which I really kind of liked. I really kind of like that idea, so maybe he'll do that again. But I can't really do much with my character. Defaults. It's also possible that everybody just starts at 10. Oh, he has rolling. Okay. Oh, it looks like everybody just starts at 10, so maybe it doesn't matter. You adjust yours based off ability boosts, which you get for different things, increase the score ability flaws. So maybe there's no randomization to it. You just always start at 10 with their default rules. That's cool. That's fine by me. An ability boost normally increases an ability score by 2. Okay, however, the ability score to which you're applying is already 18 or higher. Its value increases only by 1. Okay, that makes sense. I saw that with Hero Lab. I actually have Hero Lab that I built, so I saw that it would only do it by 1 when you're at 18, which is plus 4. So you have to get to 20. You need 2 ability boosts, not just 1 or 1 whatever ASI. At level 1, your character can never have an ability that's higher than 18. Okay, that's fair. When a character receives an ability boost, the rules indicate whether it must be applied to a specific. Okay, so I've seen this with different feats or ancestry traits and things like that, so that makes sense to me. Okay. And then flaws. Some of them have a reduction, and I've seen that depending on the race. That's fine. Once you've finalized your ability score, you can use them to determine your modifiers. Okay, this happens naturally with everything. That matches with 5e. Create a concept. This is the part right here, guys. What sort of hero do you want to play? The answer to this question might be as simple as a brave warrior, or as complicated as the child of elden wanderers, but raised in a city dominated by humans and devout to Sarenrae, goddess of the sun. Alright, consider your character's personality, sketch out a few details about their past, and think about how and why they adventure. You want to pursue Pathfinder's available ancestries, backgrounds, and classes. The summaries on page 22 through 23 might help you match up the concept with some of the basic rule elements. Before a game begins, it's also a good idea for the players to discuss how their characters might know each other, and we'll kind of do that. That's fine. There are many ways to approach your character concept. Once you have a good idea of the character you like to play, move on to step 2 and start building your character. So one of the things that Nathan and I have talked about up to this point are different. So we went through the ancestries and we kind of checked which ones we're interested in, and we're just kind of looking for what matches. Hype Train. Okay, Hype Train's dead. We definitely don't want to play elves or dwarves. We don't want to play any of these. And we actually both have this this kind of leaning towards smalls. We like smalls. It is what it is. But we will decide. There's some that we can play multiple on. So automatons, flesh warps. I think there's one other that could be small or medium. I know that hyenas have an option to play what's called an ant knoll. Ant knoll. which is a small size gnoll. We've talked about that. So there's different things. Anyway, we have a desire to play smalls. It's fun for us. And then we turned around and we talked about different classes. We did the same thing for classes. What do we and don't we want to play? And we started that. So we haven't really built out concepts per se. And one of the things I did want to talk to him about tonight was, we need to think about what we want to do, what our concept is in fighting. How do we want to fight? And how can we play off each other? But also in terms of Kingmaker, there is roles you have to play within governing or leading the kingdom, and we need to think about how that would work. Probably need to go through the player's guide as well, which I want to do on stream, and navigate those kind of questions. And then we probably need to think about, outside of that, how do our characters interact with each other and the party in terms of downtime or non-combat encounters, social things, intrigue. What role do we play there? I am hesitant to play a high charisma character because I don't want to think about how my character is clever. If I can't just be myself, I'm probably not going to do it well. And I feel like if I'm not going to play to my character's stats, then I'm not really doing it correctly. So I have a bit of a, we'll call it self-confidence issue when it comes to playing a character. And actually, I've played 3 or 4 campaigns. I've only finished. I did the last part of Storm King's Thunder, which was actually with Crash, my DM for Mythic Odyssey. And I came in late to that. Some people weren't able to finish out the campaign, and I joined with a character who was added in. And that was really my first time playing. And then Mythic Odyssey is my second time actually playing. So I have things I want to do, but when the time comes to do them in game, I get very, I'll call it stage fright almost at the end of the day. And so because of that, I shy away from charisma characters. It's easy to play an intelligence character because, one, I can ask questions the way that an intelligence character would probably ask, but all of the other knowledge and things are just rolls of the dice, or the DM will have that information anyway. Sibo on Sundays now is a high intelligence warlock, and I have expertise in history and all of those things, so it's easy for me to be the lore god because my character's stats say that I should be, and the DM will have all of that information. So kind of put that out there. I don't want to be the guy that says he does something clever and then let the DM kind of describe it. I wish that I could be better at knowing what a clever thing to do would be. So until I get there, I won't play charisma based characters. I have said a lot there. Ancestry, background, class, or details. I get these at this point, so I don't think I want to go too far into kind of reading them. I understand what they are in terms of ancestries or races from 5e. Backgrounds are backgrounds, that's the same. Classes, I get all that. I'm not too worried about getting into that. I know faith is very similar. All different deities, all different religions and faiths, but I totally get that. And then you might want to coordinate with other players. That's what we're doing. Hopefully Nathan and I can get together soonish to go through different things. Start building ability scores. I'm not too worried about that. I, again, don't think that we've even talked about what that looks like. I just want to kind of build concepts. We're going to talk about concepts. Selected ancestry. So again, it's kind of what we've done here. And we started to put together different ideas. I think one of the things I get really excited about, or have gotten really excited about, is like the old man Muppets, and having both Nathan and I play the the Muppets, the old guys in that are up in the box and basically make fun of everybody. I thought that would be fun, but again, that's a charisma based character, so questioning that. We both love the idea of doing Knoll clerics and playing off of one of us is an ant knoll, the other one is a bigger knoll, and kind of going down that path of them being related that way. But it's competitive healers, right? Our entire job or an entire goal, as far as how we interact together, is we're always competing who can do the most healing, and tracking those things. And I thought that would be fun, as opposed to two people who are trying to have the most kills. We're actually trying to be competitive healers. So that was one of the fun ideas. I liked. I really like a burrowing grappler, and I'm trying to figure out how to do that. But again, that's narrow-minded of me. I'm very much stuck on combat with that. But I wanted to be able to burrow and grapple and kind of do like a directional melee controller who's trying to find ways to limit movement on a battlefield, but having no real magic. I don't know. Summoners is the alternative to that. But anyway, those are some of the concepts we talked about, and we'll go talk about those more. I think the background will determine that. We'll kind of look through those. Determine ability scores. Again, we'll go through those. Yeah, so I'm actually at the point where, oddly enough, there's nothing else to talk about here. Let me pull up. I think the rest of this becomes post character creation. Right. Backgrounds, classes, skills. Let's talk about skills, so I understand better what a skill does. I get key ability, skill actions, that's fine. Alright, skill checks. When you're actively using a skill, often by performing one of its actions, you might attempt a skill check. That'd be cool. Attempt a skill check. Rolling a d20 and adding your skill modifier. To determine this modifier, you add your ability modifier for the skill's key ability, your proficiency bonus, and any other bonuses or penalties. So skill modifier is key ability, proficiency, bonuses, and penalties. Okay. The GM sets the DC for the skill. Okay, that's fine. That all makes sense. Okay. Some armors oppose penalties. I know about that. Dexterity penalty for certain skills. I know other things too, so all good. Secret checks. Sometimes you won't know whether... Okay, Crash built this into Foundry where certain things like deception are hidden, so I don't actually know how well I did based off of my roll. He has to tell me. That's totally fine. And I actually really like that. But stealth. I know if I stepped on a stick. I know if my stealth isn't working, so those things we can see. Exploration downtime activities. Some skill activities, exploration activities usually take a minute or more. Some downtime activities may take a day or more. Okay, we've talked about this. I know that'll be end up getting bigger. Skill descriptions. The following. What? Let me. All right. Where was skills? It didn't actually break down the skills. Alright. That's weird. Is that because it's a different part of the game? Is that a different part of the game? There we go. Okay. Click here for rules on skills. That's not going to... I'm so sad. I'm so sad. Okay. Whatever. We'll continue on. feats. I know that there are 1,000 feats, and I don't think that's anything for me to get into at the moment. It will be very complicated to get into the middle of. Crafting, I don't want to get in the middle of. That's fine. I think that I'm going to do a quick pivot and get the Kingmaker Player's Guide up. That's what I think I'll do. I thought I had it. Very sad. Let's go get it. All right. Okay, so I kind of talked a little bit with Nathan a little bit about this, but things to consider. Actually, I think I have a bunch of things here on it that I kind of pre-written out. Suggested character options. So this also should help, but maybe not deter us per se. Strongly recommended and or recommended. I probably will not lean into the appropriate section, even though we definitely talked about playing a sprite. That's all I'm saying. I'm gonna say we kind of talked about playing a sprite. Cleric, that's fine. So there's really, other than the cleric of a certain deity, probably doesn't matter. These things, okay, skills that don't matter, which is kind of interesting that medicine doesn't matter. And all multi-skill types. So it's suggesting that we can but shouldn't for those items. Also, I don't think Null was up here. Yeah, so like there's a bunch of races up here that aren't actually represented. Alright, so this was... Alright, Alchemist. Well, alchemy doesn't play a particularly important role in Kingmaker. The Alchemist can still have plenty of opportunities to shine in this campaign. So, we actually did discuss playing dueling alchemists who are purely built around a supportive type of gameplay. Either the healer one, the Churkin, I don't know what it's called, or kind of like a controller bomber type of character, which I have up at the top of here. So we have discussed that. Alchemists are definitely on the table. Goblins or rat folk, I think, are what we have discussed, which could be fun. Barbarian, most active barbarians within the Stolen Lands are the Tiger Lords, but they're a violent band of warmongers who play the role of antagonists in the campaign. As such, they make poor choice for PC affiliation. If a player wants their barbarian character to have an affiliation with a local group, work with your GM to generate specifics. If they play a Tiger Lord, they should work with them to ensure that they won't have knowledge about their current activities. Okay, that's good. To avoid spoilers. Bard has the ability to sway crowds, manipulate social events, often come in handy during Kingmaker. So this is a champion or a charisma-based character. And once again, I am kind of, hesitant to go down that road. We're not really interested in champion, so we'll move on. Cleric does come up. All nations have a need for healers and spiritual leaders. None of those, but those struggling to find their footing at the edge of civilization benefit most of all. If I understand about Kingmaker, there's an area called the River Kingdom? What's it called? River Kingdoms, yeah. So big deal here. So it's like in this area, Stolen Lands, that's where they talked about the barbarians. Brevoy is up north. Numeria. So I know that these things are important, but if I understand, we spend most of our time kind of in this area during the story. And since those are on the edge of civilization, this thing, their benefit would be viable for us. Druid, we are interested in. We talked about this being kind of like Leshies, which could be fun to play a plant person who has a plant based ability, but we'll go from there. They're strong in the stolen lands, particularly linked to the first world. Okay. First world, I don't know if that means the same thing, but I'm guessing that's where like their summons and things probably come from without having more information. The worship of Galzurech and members of the Green Faith are most common Druidic traditions followed in the region, while the animal, leaf, and wild orders are most appropriate for Kingmaker. Leaf is kind of what we had talked about if we did them. That's fine. Fighter, I'm kind of interested. He's not, so I'm kind of checking that one off. Gunslinger, he did, but I said no. Inventor, same. Investigator, same. They don't have kineticists. That's fine. So monk. There are no established or significant monastic orders in the Stolen Lands or the surrounding regions. A traveling explorer or pilgrim likely makes the most sense for a monk character. A monk who seeks to establish their own order may well find an opportunity to do so. That could be fun. That could be fun. We'll go from there. Oracle, I had said, he said no. We're kind of looking last at Summoner, Thaumaturge. Summoners of the God Caller tradition are the most commonly encountered summoners in the region. The best choices thematically for Kingmaker is Eidolons is Beast, Dragon, Fae, and Plant. I kind of like Plant. I ain't gonna lie. But what is God Caller? Oops, I hit the wrong thing. Class. Summoner. What is God Caller? God Caller tradition. Oh, it's the Eidolons, right? Is there a God Caller? No? I'm confused. That's fine. I won't dig further into it for now. I wonder if that's something that changed since it came out. Who knows? Alright. Swashbuckler, no. Thaumaturge. The region are often misunderstood as investigators, wizards, or scholars. They're charisma based now. I kind of know what to. All implements have use in this region, but your GM may have suggestions about specific choices that might mesh with the game's theme. That's fine. And then witches are quite appropriate, particularly if they choose thematically synergetic patron like Curse, Fate, and Wild. I actually kind of like the idea of Nathan and I picking one as Curse and one as Fate. That actually was something we had talked about, having witches. I don't know if we wrote that down though. Oh, I did this. I play a halfling on Sundays now on Mythic, and we joked around about playing a halfling who's a witch, but he's a male, and he always talks about how male witches are warlocks, and kind of keep referring back to it. It would only be fun for the people who are currently in the campaign, so it was written down, but we really didn't flesh it out. Anyway. Kingmaker takes place in the Stolen Lands, where common is the most widely spread language. Other strong choices. Akalal. I don't think I wrote any of this down. Oh, I did. Wait, it says that this is appropriate, but this says strong choice. Boggart. Okay, that's really weird. Open English, Gnomish, Goblin. I don't know what that means. I think these are other common languages. Maybe. Okay, it basically listed all of this. That's funny. Okay, whatever. All of these are strong, apparently. Okay. Kingdoms. So, Crash is currently reading through this to understand building the kingdoms and tracking the kingdom stuff. I am not going to do that. Although I did find this part interesting, I think that we should definitely go with a Hiyomanri. Decentralized relies on local leaders just so that we can put NPCs in places and not have to deal with it. We can just be like, you guys deal with whatever. I thought that would be the best to kind of really like make Crash do a lot more work, you know, because he's only the DM. It's not like he's doing everything. He does a shit ton. But I thought that would be fun. But I'm interested to talk to the guys about this when we get there, because obviously this is normal. I think this would be fun if we all wanted our say. This one would be funny because, again, we can kind of just throw people around, not do anything. That being said, I want to say that I'm probably gonna leave these here and stop playing with that. And I wanted to look at. Well, this kind of turns into like a moot point. I've done a ton of ideas by myself, and I really do need Nathan. Granted, I'll put it out as a massive caveat that this is far in advance. We probably have 6 months before this is even getting started, and at the end of the day, I'm just like super far ahead because I'm extremely interested in figuring out all the options. But we're going to grab probably 5 or 6 different ideas, flesh them out quite a lot, and then go back into kind of which ones do we like the best out of that whenever we get there. I also did hear that Crash is going to change the Hobgoblin away from the Pathfinder one, so we will see what that is. Okay. Whenever we get there. So I guess at that point, let's talk about actions. Aid. Trigger is an ally. Is about to use an action that requires a skill check or an attack roll. I'm sure that's noisy, I'm sorry. The requirement is the ally is willing to accept your aid and you have prepared to help. See below. You try to help your ally with a task. To use this reaction, okay, that's good enough. You must first prepare to help, usually by using an action during your turn. You must explain to the GM exactly how you intend to help. Okay, this is the help action. This is, yeah, the same thing. But you get different types of bonuses. Critical success is a +2. Depending on your master or legend, you get it. Okay, that's nice. A regular success is just a +1, but a critical fail is a -1. Lingering. No, triggering. Oh, man, thank God I didn't see the word lingering. You can crawl. You are prone. Your speed is at least 10 feet. Okay, you can crawl 5 feet. Okay, so it's half movement to crawl. Delay. So we play right now. We play active initiative or popcorn, and basically, whoever wins the initiative gets to take their turn. If they attack somebody and do damage, that person can steal the initiative from them and take their turns. If they hit somebody, then that person could steal. If somebody's already gone, that person could be hit and they don't steal, obviously, because you can only go once per turn. Once I go, if I don't do damage to somebody, I can pass to somebody on my team. So we get to really control the order, but whoever goes last gets to control the initiative for the next round, meaning that they can pass to somebody who can do a lot of damage or whatever. So it makes it a more a bigger strategy game within, and I like that. So the delay item may not matter. I say that because I'm not going to read it, because I would like to do popcorn, and I hope that we do active or popcorn initiative because it was fantastic and awesome. Drop prone. Okay, that makes sense. You drop prone. Is it an action though? Is it like literally? It's an action. Okay. I mean, it makes sense, but all right. Escape. You attempt to escape from being grappled, immobilized, or restrained. Choose one creature, object, special effect, hazard, or other impediment imposing any of those conditions on you. Attempt to check using your unarmed check modifier, unarmed attack modifier against the DC of the effect. Okay. So same thing. It's an escape. I can't even remember. Yeah, but it makes sense. That's fine. Okay. Interact. You can use your hand or hands to manipulate an object or terrain. So I would like to. Okay, that's fine. That's how it is now. It's an action. Invest an item. Invest. Is that like a class-based thing? I don't know. I'll read more up on that. This looks like a investor. Yeah, this looks like a, I don't know, either feet-based or whatever. That's fine. GG. Leap. You can you take a careful short jump. You can leap up to 10 feet horizontally if your speed is at least 15 feet. You can leap up to 10 feet horizontally if your speed is 15 feet. Okay, or up to 15 feet horizontally if your speed is at least 30. Interesting. So I guess it rounds up to 10. But if it's 15, you can go 10. If it's 30, you can go 15. You land in the space where your leap ends, meaning you can typically clear a 5-foot gap. Okay. Or a 10-foot gap if your speed is 30. I see, that makes sense. If you leap vertically, you can move up 3 feet, 5 feet horizontally over the surface. That's fine. Jumping greater distance requires athletic skill. Got it. Okay, that's a good note. This is what I wanted. Where are these? Very sad. I'm gonna click on it. I'll go back to that later. Ready. You prepare. Okay, ready in action. That's fine. Uses a reaction. Yeah. To let it go. Also means you can't do this while concentrating. Assuming that that's the same, and I'll look that up later. You release something you're holding with your hands. You might mean dropping an item. This is kind of like an item interact. Seek. This is like an investigate action. You scan an area for signs and creatures or objects. If you're looking for creatures, choose an area you're scanning. Precision is necessary. The GM will have you select a 30-foot cone. Nice. Okay. 15-foot burst. The line of sight. You might make a penalty to choose an area. You might take a penalty if you choose an area that is far away. Interesting. Okay. I mean, that makes sense. We want to focus on looking for something. It will take probably an action to do it in an area, a specific area. Otherwise, it's just kind of a general perception check, I think. I don't know, whatever. Geo attempts a single secret perception check for you and and compares the result of the stealth of any undetected or hidden creatures in that area. Okay. The creature you detect might remain hidden rather than become observed. If you're using an imprecise sense, or if an effect such as invisibility prevents or something. Okay, that makes sense. Like perceiving something that's, because I think tremor sense has a rain area. You don't know exactly where it is, but you know that it's around, for example. That makes sense. Sense motive, this is insight. Check. Choose one creature and assess it for odd body language, signs of nervousness, and other indicators that it might be trying to deceive someone. The GM attempts a single secret perception check for you and compares the result. That's fine. Okay. Stand. Stand up from going prone. That's fine. I think it's use like half movement. I'll just use the whole action to stand. Is that the case? You don't use your movement, you actually have to use an action to stand? But you have all your movement then. I don't know, maybe that's not that bad. Step, you can do a 5-foot step. Okay, that's fine. Doesn't trigger attacks of opportunity. You can't step into difficult terrain. You can't step using a speed other than your land speed. Okay, that makes sense. Stride, move up to your speed. So I guess it's like movement and then stride. Maybe. You attack with a weapon. So strike, okay. It's a strike action. Take cover, which is hide. Okay. Stealth, hide, and see. That's it. Activate an item. So specialty, basic actions. You require. Okay. Oh, there's a lot to read here. Oh my goodness. Okay. Alright, we read them. Activate an item. Requirements. You can activate an item with the invested trait only if it is invested by you. If the item requires you to interact with it, you must be wielding it if it's a held item, or touching it with a free hand if it's not a held item. You call forth the effect of an item by properly activating it. If it's a special activity that takes a variable number of actions as listed in the stat item block, this is a special activity that takes as listed in the special. Okay. Some items can be activated. Some items can be activated as a reaction or a free action. In this case, you activate an item as a reaction or free action as appropriate, instead of as an activity. Such cases are noted in the item's activate entry stat block. For example, activate command. Okay. Activation component. Well, some items take minutes or hours to activate. The activate item activity for these includes a mix of listed activation components, but it's not necessary to break down which ones you're providing at any given time. You can't use other actions or reactions while activating such an item. That's fine. To your discretion. That makes sense. Activation components. Use activation entry lists a component involved in the activation after the action icon or text, such as command. The activation component described below adds traits listed in parentheses, the requirements of requirements to the activation. If you can't provide the components, you fail to activate the item. Command, envision, concentrate. Okay, interact, manipulate, cast a spell. Auditory, concentrate. Nathan, I'm gonna need you to pause for 49 minutes for his stuff we got here. Okay, I'll pause. Go ahead. mostly have just read the initial Kingmaker items. This box here, kind of describing these, it kind of doesn't say you shouldn't do anything other than the cleric item. Everything else is acceptable. And I read through some of the classes here where it kind of mentions, there's not, you can play an alchemist, but meh, barbarians work but don't do anything with the tiger lords. It kind of just gives some details in the Kingmaker handbook. And then I think that's all that I read. And I pointed out that this is the map. We're in this area, like River Kingdom's in this area. And then they'll talk about Brevoy, Rostov, and Numeria, which is anyway. So I kind of talked about those. And then that's mostly it. Yeah, my audio is coming in pretty low because when I turn my head, the mic doesn't pick me up. So it's something I still haven't learned how to do very well. So if I just stare at my mic like this, you can usually hear me pretty well. All right. Any inspiration found in our character ideas? No, I think that the more that I mess with this, the more that you and I probably just need to sit down and talk about the 6 ideas we had and how we want to flesh them out and go from there. I feel like I'm spinning my wheels in terms of trying to find something else. So I feel like we'll probably have the best that we're going to get with the 6 that you and I talked about, whatever we listed in the chat, in the chat. These that you cannot read. Anyway, those. 100% had so many options. I do think reading through the player's guide will help shape some of the ideas. 100%, yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think the majority of this is going to actually be... Oh, that was the other thing I talked about, like building the kingdoms and talking about this thing. So that was the other thing I brought up early on was one of the things I get stuck on is how I want my character to act in fights, and I don't really consider anything else. Like Sibo, I didn't think about him being an expertise in history and lore. I just wanted to be an intelligence warlock, and then everything else kind of like, oh, I guess he would do that too. So I want to think about those things. Fighting, but also outside of combat. But then also the third thing, which I've never thought about, which why would I, but how do our characters interact with like with the kingdom, right? Our characters won't know it early on, but we should consider the leadership roles we might have to play and how those things kind of apply. The first ever, yeah, the expert in lore, right? If we are, isn't there like a healer? Yeah. Well, exactly, because early on we'll have to decide why they care about building a kingdom. One of the things that did talk about in here, which we don't really have. Oh, we have monk, which I thought was kind of a cool item I never considered before. Let me get up there. There are no established significant monastic orders in the Stolen Lands or surrounding regions. A traveling explorer or pilgrim likely makes the most sense for a monk character. This is the part here. A monk who seeks to establish their own order may find an opportunity to do so while the party expands the kingdom. So that's a motivation right there. And you can do like a whole, I was dishonorably discharged from my last monastery or whatever. So looking at different ways to kind of, but anyway, but then what would they, if it turned around, again, we would know this, the character wouldn't, but if we turned around and said, what role do you play? I don't know, maybe that's a viceroy, warden. I don't think that it's ruler. Maybe counselor. I don't know. General doesn't really make sense for a monk. Anyway, that's what I wanted to think about, is kind of go through them, each of the roles, and go, this specific character, this specific idea, which one would kind of fulfill, and then we can make up our own too, I believe. They don't have to be limited to these. Yeah. Agreed. And then again, we have two monks that are doing the same thing. We're doing it together. Or competing, right? What if it's the Cobra Kai versus the, anyway, yeah. So I think those are things that kind of came out of it. And I know Crash kind of said that he might change quite a bit of these, so I don't know how much sticks, but I know building based off of roles and what they could focus on. Again, I think having a healer makes sense. Treasure, state secrets, magical things. So maybe the Magister is a healer. Different kinds of Magisters. Yeah, I don't know. We kind of go through them. We originally came to like spread the word of our monastery, but then we disagreed on the methods, and then we create our own. Schism and battle for who can have the best monastery in the Stolen Lands. Yeah. Now me, like I love this Viceroy idea. I think this looks really great. How would I build a character that cared about this? Again, I think this could be good for a monk type character that based off of that idea. Druid might care about this. I feel like this has like alchemist written all over it. Yeah. Yeah. So important. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think those are things to consider that I've never done before. Thought about. If we're both witches. Oh, that was the other thing it kind of set up here about witches. Curse and Fate. Yeah. Druid would have an interesting take on vice, since they would need more concerned about the balance in the kingdom with nature. Yeah, agreed. That would be a juggling act for that, and feeling like they're able to dedicate Yeah, agreed. Oh, I know we didn't select wizard down here, but opportunity to for a wizard character to establish a school of their own. Yeah, it'd be fun as well. I haven't really thought about wizard, but let's talk about my arcane thesis: spell blending. Oh, yeah, yeah. Anyway, that's about it. Um, Also, Dune. Oh, how was Dune? Dune was great, right? Okay, I think I'm going to. I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna call it. Try to do this. I think the next time I'll do some more. I need to read more about some of the actions they have, different parts of the rules, actions, activities. Go into the skills. I'd like to kind of read about more specifics in the skills. Um, I believe they're pretty straightforward. Like reading occultism, I don't fucking know what occultism is, right? Like ancient philosophies. I mean, I'm assuming this is like warlock type shit. Um, on this, so I want to go into those the next time, but maybe that's tomorrow. I don't know. Either way, I'm calling it there. Thank you all for hanging out.